Katie in Vegas. Katie, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Hey, you're on the air.
I'm on the air. Can you hear me?
Yes, go.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to mention, I was listening to your guys' show while driving, and my opinion is that, to be honest, yes, they should, whether you're an atheist or you believe in, say, satanic rituals or whatever that be, then if it's a public place, they should be able to hand out their pamphlets. I do not advocate it, but if that's the case, yes.
Should they be able to go on a school campus and hand them out?
Yeah. I mean, if they can do it in colleges, I mean, I'm not actually, 100% positive, but I know they hand out certain other things and even put things on bulletins, such as looking for roommates or whatever. It doesn't matter what the content is. They should be able to do it.
Well, many colleges have rules and restrictions on free speech on campus. In fact, I've been banned from the college campus with a no trespass order here. Now, that one was a 1-year-long ban for handing out flyers about a 420 celebration a couple of years ago. When my attorney contacted the college, all of a sudden they rescinded that no trespass order. So I suspect that they knew they were in the wrong on that particular case. But that won't stop them from threatening you if you do go on to a college campus, for instance. Now, traditionally, colleges have been more of a kind of free speech zone, but that won't stop a college security agent from telling you you can't be there or that you've got to go and get some sort of permission slip from the college.
I love how high school students who are 18 years old are somehow incapable of understanding important radical ideas that might be different than what their parents teach, but college students who are 18 years old a few months later somehow are wide open and ready to accept these
ideas. That's not
ideas.
the argument, Mark. No one's ever made the argument that the high schoolers are incapable. The argument is that you're just not allowed to come on campus because terrorism. Or
what about colleges? What about terrorism in colleges?
Yeah.
Well, just because, they say you can't doesn't, there's a difference between you can and can't. They're telling you can't, but the reality is, yes, they can, whether it's my opinion or not.
You're absolutely right about that, Katie. Thanks for the call tonight. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. So, yeah, I totally agree with where she's coming from. This is kind of the way it works, though, with bureaucrats, right? And usually at these colleges, you're still dealing with bureaucrats. They're still state-funded schools, and so ultimately, even though they may have a little more autonomy.
The answer to everything when dealing with a government bureaucracy is no,
right,
until it's yes.
And or you can't do that. For instance, I don't ask permission. I've never asked permission to go on a college campus and hand information out, ever. And I'm not going to, because I believe I have a right to free speech. And if I'm on government property, government-funded property, then I should have a right to be there and engage in my free speech. But that doesn't stop them from coming up to you and attempting to intimidate you. And if you don't know your rights, and if you're not willing to stand on your rights, then the first time a security agent comes up and says, hey, you can't hand those out here. Hey, you need to get a permission slip for that. Come with me. And then, they take you up to the office, and then that's when they show you all this paperwork. And I've been there. I've been to the office, and I've seen their paperwork. And I don't care about it. I'm not interested in following their rules. Like, for instance, here at Keene State College, they want you to fill out this paperwork and beg for permission. And then once you fill out the paperwork, it's not like they're going to let you go out and hand things out. The rules and restrictions on the paperwork say that you're only allowed to come to the school once a month or twice a month max. You can set up a table. They'll provide the table. You set up a table in the student center, and you can sit behind the table. And you cannot call out to anyone walking by. Now, that basically neuters any effectiveness that you have at doing any kind of getting information into people's hands. Because if you just have to sit quietly behind the table, you can stay all day, but you have to sit quietly behind the table until someone comes up and approaches you. Well, I'm sorry. That's just not effective. I want to get information into people's hands. I'm not going to do that. So even if I wanted to ask permission, the rules would be unacceptable to me. And so I have ever since then, I just continue to hand things out, and they've left me alone.
Right. Well, they're certainly not going to change your mind.
Well, right. And they don't want to apparently, issue me another no trespass order because they don't want to go to court on that issue and possibly lose. Because it's more effective for them to just continue threatening people who don't know their rights.
Yeah. It absolutely is, because this way, if they take you to court and you win, then they have to basically let 100% of people who are nutty folks who have opinions like you on the campus. That's 100%.
Right.
In this case, they can keep 99% off and just let you do whatever you want because, well,
Yes.
You're the dog off the leash.
Because the 99% of the people who will get it into their head, most people won't have the brazenness to go on a campus and do something like this. But of those who do get it in their head that they want to go hand out stuff, most of them will be turned away by a simple threat from a security agent. Oh, I can't be here? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll leave. Oh, I need to fill out the form. All right, give me the forms. Okay. I'll do whatever you tell me. That's not standing on your rights. That's not exercising your rights. If you want to have rights, you have to exercise them. And frequently that means facing down the police, or in this case, security agents who will call the police on you. And that's what I do. 855, 450 free. In fact, that's what a lot of us do here in New Hampshire, where we have a movement of people. In fact, I meant to mention this to a caller earlier who was really interested in the idea of not having government-run schools in the first place. Look, wherever it is you are in the United States or whatever country internationally, odds are good government schools are there to stay, and they're there to stay for a long time. And I think that here in New Hampshire, they're probably going to be staying around for a long time too. But the idea that we've got here is to move people to New Hampshire, as we did, Mark. You and I are from Florida originally. Move people to New Hampshire as part of what's called the Free State Project. People who love liberty, not just any people, but people who understand what freedom really means. Not just people who want educational freedom, but people who want freedom across the board. People who get that in order to have freedom at some day in the future, in order to have freedom, we have to allow other people to have freedom too, which means allowing people who have different ideas than ours to have freedom for themselves. If you're willing to let people be free and you understand what liberty is all about, go to freestateproject.org. I can't encourage you firmly enough to do this. I think it's the most important movement we've seen in our lifetimes. It's working. We've got over 1,600 people here now in New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project. Over 16,000 people have signed on as participants in the Free State Project. These are people who've pledged, as we did, to make the move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve as much liberty in our lifetime as humanly possible.
Absolutely, because people sitting around talking about the ideas of liberty wherever they are or trying to work within the Libertarian Party or whatever where they are, they tried that for decades. It hasn't worked. Something else has to be tried. Yes, I know picking up your life and moving across the country,
tough.
It's a commitment. There's no doubt about it. I know because I did it. I know because, I made that same commitment, and so have, at this point, about 1,600, maybe somewhere in 1,700 people have done the same thing. Don't think you're alone. There are people that are committed like you.
That's what we need. We need people who are committed to the ideas of liberty. Go check it out, freestateproject.org. There's also a great 101 Reasons to Move to New Hampshire there.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.